Today we have, I guess, some sort of an Ed Schultz update. I don't know why we need an Ed Schultz update.
This seems important.
Does it?
Yeah, you're going to like this one.
Dan is in. Dan is the head writer for the TV show. Been with me for, I don't even know how long, Dan? 2000? Yeah, been with us since 2000, and you still don't know how to turn on a microphone, but you can go ahead and turn that on.
Mute button somewhere over there.
Yeah, there we go. It's Jeffy. We let Jeffy go.
Yeah.
And there's probably some explanation that's due.
We just leave it at what? Don't complicate the situation. We had to let Jeffy go. Period.
All right, we'll leave it at that. So anyway, so Dan, you apparently had some reason to have contact with Ed Schultz.
So the other day I'm just, going about my business at work. I just happened to check Twitter. And, just at that moment, I just happened to see a tweet from Ed Schultz, and he's teasing his show and whatever he had going on in his show that night. It was something like, more shady deals from Scott Walker. And so, I don't even know what the story is, but I just thought it was funny because the one thing I remember from Ed Schultz is the way his show started. And so I just tweeted back at him and I said, hey, you're a guy that knows something about shady deals. And so I linked to the article from the LA Times in 2006.
This is what the Democrats paid for his show to get on the air or something.
And
like
Randy Rhodes, who's a liberal host, I always found the story fascinating. She's a liberal host, and she explained it as like it was coming off like the Amistad, like she felt like a slave, and they went into this room, her and Ed Schultz, and these Democrats, these Senate Democrats were there bidding on them. And she was just like, so she said that disgusted her. And so she just was like, I got to get out of here. If you want it, you got it. That's all you. I don't even care. And so, but Ed took the money. That's how he got a national show. So
$800,000, wasn't it something like that?
That's what the LA Times had reported in 2006.
Wow,
so that's how. So anyway, so just
transparency.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just threw that out there, thinking whatever, it's a funny little tweet, whatever, no big deal. So I'm about to shut down Twitter, and then I get an alert, notification, and Ed Schultz has responded to my tweet within like 2 minutes. Like this is a guy, I've got like nobody following me on Twitter. He's got like 100-something thousand people, which is shocking, but
he's a national television host, even though it is on MSNBC.
Yeah. So he responds to me. I'm like, oh geez, what did he say? So I click on it, and he writes, "Work for the Blaze? Now that's a real job."
Okay. All right. I like that. So he's clicking on your profile and reading your profile to figure out where you work.
The Blaze is a much bigger website than MSNBC.com.
Yeah.
Oh.
And which I found it funny.
By far.
Yeah. I found it funny, by the way, that he said, "Now that's a real job, period, space, exclamation point." I'm not sure.
All right.
I don't.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm not a grammar Nazi, but hey, that's a little odd. So
was
anyway,
he starting another sentence with an exclamation mark?
I guess. I mean, that's what it looked like.
All right.
And then he abandoned. Maybe it was just like a look he was trying to give, like a.
All right.
Okay, that's minor. You're right. All right. It's a minor part of the story.
So I just kind of laugh, and so I'm like, all right. So same thought as you, Blaze. Obviously doing big things here. So I just tweeted back, you got me.
I can't believe you tweeted back. What is wrong?
This gets much better.
All right.
Oh, no.
What did you tweet back?
I tweeted, but it was playful. I was just being playful. I mean, I got Big Ed on the line here. So what am I going to do? So I tweet back. I said, "You got me there, Ed." And then I just linked to the Forbes article, which, notes that that I'm working for one of the most powerful celebrities on the planet. So, hey, I just figured that might be worth pointing out.
All right. Okay.
So, anyway. So
Forbes seems to think it's a real job.
Yeah.
Even if the Ed brand doesn't.
All right.
Yes. So anyway,
it's not like weekends at MSNBC. I'll grant him that.
No, it's not that
I
big.
will grant him that. It's not. So
nothing
or
happened.
An internet radio show.
Okay. Stop.
It's not that big.
Stop.
So nothing happens after that. The rest of the day, I just figured it would end there. So then before I go to bed, I just go on my phone. I check the Twitter one more time, and I got another notification. And this is like some 10, 12 hours after the first initial interaction we had, and it says Ed Schultz has now followed you.
So this guy has been stewing on it all day long. It's been brewing in his mind. You're gnawing at him. He just can't get out of his head.
I had completely forgotten about it. I'm just a lowly staffer here at this crappy network, The Blaze, and I completely had forgotten about my interaction with Ed Schultz. And but he apparently had it, and so I kind of laughed. I went to bed. Then in the morning, I realized why he had followed me, because he actually doesn't follow that many people on Twitter, related to how many people follow him. So I realized why he followed me, because on Twitter, you have to follow someone to send them, and they have to be following you to send them a direct message.
So a private message has to happen.
And so,
he had already, at this point, had already deleted the tweet he sent you.
Yeah, I'm skipping a step here. Actually, yeah. So he deleted his reply to me so that nobody could see on his timeline that I replied back to him with the Forbes article and everything else. So that he just deleted that off of his timeline. I had gone back to try to find that tweet, and so somebody told me, hey, if you look in your Twitter notifications on your email, it might be in there. So when I looked in there, it said, hey, you have 2 direct messages from Ed Schultz. So Ed Schultz was private messaging me. This is way late. 12 hours had gone by, and so he's still stewing about this. And he specifically followed me to send me direct messages, which I just found hilarious. And so I'm like, what in the world did this guy say? So first of all, I look at the timestamp. It's 1:33 in the morning that he sent this.
1:33.
All right.
1:33. All right on that one. He's up at 1:33 in the morning.
Still thinking about this guy without a real job.
I am sleeping like a baby at this point.
I send messages at 3 o'clock in the morning about it.
Exactly. To competing networks, to lowly, as Dan describes himself, lowly writers at competing networks. Direct messages on Twitter. You do that at 3 o'clock?
No, I don't do that.
You email people that you work with at 1:30 in the morning.
All right. Okay. Go ahead.
So,
and it's 1:30 in the morning is just part of it. The fact that he's like waking up to email to try to get back at Dan or whatever.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's one thing. But the other part of it is no, that's the main part of it. It's just
So
what'd he say?
So here's what he said. So it said, really? Space ? Space. I didn't know that. Did they mention former drug addict and dropout? Space ?
So he's speaking of the Forbes article.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm just
wondering if Forbes...
13 hours later.
13 hours
afterwards, he's responding to the Forbes article.
Right.
No, because no one's ever mentioned that Glenn's a former alcoholic drug addict.
And he ends it with, I'm just asking the question,
geez.
space ? Space. I don't know, space ? I just had to point out the spaces. I don't know why. I'm just trying to imagine why all the spaces are in there.
You guys are finding this entertaining. I'm finding this more and more sad.
It is sad.
It's very sad.
Well, his whole life is sad.
But it gets even more sad because he had 2 minutes later go by and he has to respond one more time.
And you haven't said anything yet, and he's still sending you stuff.
I haven't replied to any of this.
All right.
And he says, how much money... It's so ridiculous. How much money has Beck taken from the Mormans? M-O-R-M-A-N-S.
The Mormans?
The Mormans?
Space ? Space !
Is that a club he hangs out at? The Mormon.
Does he believe that the Mormon church pays you directly? Is that what he's... You've paid the church quite well.
I believe the Mormons have become quite wealthy from me.
Yeah. We've given some money to the Mormons, but the Mormons don't give money to us.
So I wish it worked that way.
I do too. It'd be nice.
If it did, I would tell you our pews would look like our southern border.
Last thing about this sad exchange, which it really is. It really wasn't an exchange anymore. He's just messaging me, and I'm not responding. But he deleted these messages. And so when you delete a direct message on Twitter, apparently, I didn't know this, apparently it deletes on both ends.
He was drunk messaging.
So he
you,
actually then took these back. He didn't think I was going to see these. Yeah. So he'd sent those out at 1:30 in the morning, then went, oh, crap. I gotta go back and delete it, and he deleted it. I only found it because it sent a comment.
You know he was drunk.
So.
You know he was drunk.
No,
of course he was drunk.
No, he was drunk.
We suspect strongly he was drunk.
Why do you suspect that?
Because
Would you like me to quote some Abraham Lincoln right now about how?
No. What I'd like to do is mention that he at 1:33 and 1:35 in the morning he's direct messaging this staffer at the Blaze, and then he's deleting it once he sobers up. He thinks, oh, crap.
You're going to tell Glenn, and Glenn's going to talk about it out of here, so I'm going to delete these.
Too late, Ed. Too late.
Yeah, he probably thought that Dan didn't see them because he deleted them, but unfortunately the email alerts made that impossible for him to get away with. So now again, I know
So why would he? Now, I'm serious. I'd like to get.
You want to talk this through in a psychological,
I could reply to
in a psychological way.
I could reply to him.
I would like to know what. I mean, why would you? Besides Pat's very well documented and well spoken.
It's a baseless accusation. But
yes. Okay.
Besides
that, what makes a man, besides rage, write something like that and then delete it?
Well,
it's sad. It's really sad.
Either alcoholism himself or drug abuse.
No, you don't know. That's not.
No, I'm giving you the options.
Yeah.
Or just blind rage. And I think that's a possibility too. He just hates you so much, because of jealousy and whatever else, and he's a no-talent slug. And so
now that is not.
Hold on, you're right. He's over the line.
He's like Mayo from An Officer and a Gentleman. I got nowhere else to go.
Seriously, all right. But in reality, here for a second, can I propose sort of a little compromise, sort of nice?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. What is the compromise here?
The fusion of rage and alcoholism. That's what we have not talked about.
What is that? And Ralcoholism?
Ralcoholism. Thank you.
He's a ralcoholic.
He's a
That's tonight on Psycho Talk.
All right. Our response to this.
By the way, we should point out the entire story line, written very funny by Dan, is up on the Blaze.
Do you actually have the photos of the tweet? You have the actual.
Yeah, you can see all the tweets and all the ridiculous nonsense that Ed Schultz did.
All the spaces and exclamation points and spaces.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to imagine what happened on the keyboard there when he.
Dan,
very
did
fat
you not
fingers.
meet in my office with me just 2 days ago? We had lunch.
I'm just reporting the facts here, Glenn. I'm not saying anything.
We had lunch. And we went over, and
it was very nice, by the way.
Thank you. So we had lunch in my office, and I'm taking him through acts, and I'm like, now these are the things we have to learn from this. This is the way. And what are you doing in your spare time?
Well, wait a minute.
He's communicating with a alcoholic.
I'm concerned, Glenn. It's the same thing like with Harry Reid. I'm just concerned about Ed. The guy's sending me all these messages. Should I reach out back to him? Should I try to help Ed?
Well, you might want to reach out once to him and say, we are concerned about your health. You may be a alcoholic. All right, here's our sponsor this half hour, J-Mac.